Good morning, humanity. It's August already, August 2nd, 2021, and it's our favorite time of the week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hey, everybody, my name's Paul.
Good morning. This is Bev.
Well, you finally decided to show up, huh?
I'm back. Not for long, but I'm back.
Oh gosh, missed a Thursday, missed a Monday. I don't know. We just can't keep track of Bev Wood, folks. So
Um,
gonna have to tie down
don't
that
even
leg here.
try. Yeah.
Oh, so we're gonna have a great show today because we're gonna talk about happiness, which is what we are. We're happy.
We're
Don't
happy.
worry, be happy. One of my favorite songs.
I know. It's great.
So, and it's interesting. Before we even start this, I remember when we were in Mancus. It's a great way to start this. And we were doing the work, and there was always lots of joy. People were laughing. I mean, even people were smoking in the center at that time. And I went into the session room with this one young lady, and she says, I don't know. I don't see how you can say healing work is happening here because there's just too much laughter going on.
Oh,
I don't. Oh,
God.
she says, I don't know how you can call yourself a healer. And I went, well, if that's the dictate of a healer, I want nothing to do with
Wow.
it.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, it was, but it was
Hmm.
perfect. It was that you gotta center and
Oh, yeah.
focus, and it just to me is just another covering of the suffering,
It
and
is.
that's
It
what
is.
that's what got me going on this, wanting to talk about this. I was reading this little book on happiness, and this person quoted Sigmund Freud. He says, Sigmund Freud, after 40 years of research into the human mind, working with thousands of people, observing thousands of disturbed minds, came to the conclusion that happiness is a fiction. Man cannot be happy. At the most, we can make things a little more comfortable. That's all. At the most, we can reduce unhappiness a little. That's all. But happy, man cannot
Damn it.
be. Well, that makes you wonder. So, OBS disconnected, reconnecting. So, we're looking to see where Bev is here. Are you with me? Everything, are you there? Whoop, everything just disconnected. We're reconnecting. Hello? There we are.
Wow. Okay.
All right, let's see. Are we back live? Okay, OBS is reconnected. Anybody there? Can you see us? Let's see. Stop streaming. That's going. Hello? Are you all?
Hello.
Can you see me?
I can see you. I
All
hear
right.
you.
All right, let's see. All right, we're back, I think. So, there we are. You can all see us again? Well, that was crazy.
That was weird.
So,
Watch what you say.
yeah, I know. All right, we're back. We're back live, and we're glad we're back. We're talking about happiness here. We read you that little thing about that's funny. So we read this thing about Sigmund Freud saying, "Man cannot be happy,"
Wow.
and all of a sudden everything shut down. But we're still happy.
No.
So let's talk a little about that. That sounds pessimistic, but it seems to be, the standard of humanity nowadays is the suffering. We identify with our suffering.
Well, there's a couple things that have overwhelmed us. First of all, we're separated from each other. We have no sense of being, belonging to something. We have constant wars on this planet. We have poverty and people living out without shelter or food or healthy water. Those do not, we have anger and trying to amass great bunches of money Come on, how can you be happy? There's not one thing about that that can make you happy.
Right.
So
So,
that's all we've known.
right, and I think that's what he was talking about was the standard life of most people,
Yeah.
and we have something written in our epilogue about that too. But you know, is it possible to choose happiness? We were talking about that earlier. What is the choice to be happy? I mean, sounds like Freud was saying based on the mind. Well, it's not really. We can alleviate some suffering, but real happiness. What is real happiness here?
Well, you know what? When you're in a program, what has to happen is something new has to come in to change the dynamic of that pattern. It's called the path of least resistance. That's our path of least resistance is misery, pain and suffering. That's where we go to. That's the default button, okay? However, what we're really here to do is to choose love and happiness. So we have been totally going against our natural, innate sense of who we truly are. And we've talked about that many times when we talk about biotouch. For me, biotouch is one of the, in fact, I think biotouch is here to heal the heart of humanity. That's where it all starts. That heart has to open. Biotouch is here to help each one of us to make a different choice for our lives.
Right.
We do that all the time. We talk about you have to become conscious, or another word for it, become self aware. Then you can actually be the observer of your misery and say, I choose another way. There's another way. We are already been given the choice to do that. We can be happy. We just have to choose it.
And what I always loved about BioTouch. I remember in the very beginning that old timer saying Norman and Carol brought love to the Mancus Valley. That happiness, we brought happiness to the, and it wasn't that big of a. All you had to do was have that simple intent to help another human being, which is innate in all of us.
Yeah.
And your experience with your family this past week, all those. Tell us all. I mean, how those were amazing. All your grandkids
I
and the one
know.
that ended up in the tell us what
Yeah.
happened there with all
my
these
my
grandkids.
granddaughter, she ended up in emergency care on Wednesday night. My daughter had to take her. High temperature. She was feeling pain all day. She thought she might be having some gallbladder. Da 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 da. I did biotouch on her that afternoon. She asked me for it. Would you do biotouch on me? I said, of course. So I did. I worked with her, doing those couple of specific sets of points that would address that, and she ended up having to go to the ER anyway. And of course, we always talk about that. But what she said to me the next day was, "Grandma, it was biotouch that opened me up to my body. I had to go to the hospital in that situation to find out something else." She
Right?
says, "That's pretty amazing." I said, "That's self-awareness."
Yeah. And
you
then
know
and then all those young fellas that you worked on, the
oh
oldest, the
yeah, my
youngest. I mean,
all three of my grandsons, no, well, all three out of the four, they're both the two older ones in sports, and one had a foot surgery, one and having on antibiotics, being sick, and the other one having lower back pain. The little baby asked me to do biotouch on his tummy, and so all three of them like, okay, yeah. And I turned to their mother, Julie, who we all know and love, and said, "Oh, if you guys want to continue biotouch here in person, there she is, right there." I put her
yeah,
on the spot. But all three of them, oh my
yeah.
gosh,
And they were it brought happiness to it.
yeah,
It was lighthearted. It wasn't a big deal. Even a high
no,
school kid could do it and not feel like he was ruining his masculinity. And
no, not at all. It was
right,
wonderful. I mean, I was so honored that they even asked for biotouch.
right.
No,
So
yeah,
that's what we wanted to share. And BioTouch, as Bev was just saying, it really is here to heal the heart of humanity. And when I stumbled upon it back in the mid '80s, it rang to me that humanity needed this, and even
yes,
more so now because we're going to read
oh,
something. And if you read our manual in just the epilogue, even the the preface and the epilogue. So we're just going to read one little paragraph. Every time I read this epilogue, I'm like, oh, I can't even believe this is in here.
It had to be, Paul.
Well,
This is
yeah,
meant for humanity.
and
The message
it's
of BioTouch.
timeless words. These words
Yeah,
just like fit. And so there's this little paragraph that goes, "Know thyself." I mean, self-awareness is what we've talked about since day one.
right.
Every human being is the vehicle of his own destiny. Each is free to venture into some elegant area of thought and peer with yearning trepidation into the obscure shadows. I love it. Those
Yep.
who refrain from this liberty, real liberty here, the
Yeah.
liberty to choose to go into the shadows, your granddaughter, it got her into her body, into that shadow, into I finally the mind and body and soul come together and oh, I need to take care of something.
Right.
Yeah.
And she clearly got that message. That was cool.
And those who refrain from this liberty will live an ordinary life, be conditioned by ordinary thoughts, exhibit doubts that have ordinarily been postulated by others. Such people are part of the ordinary problems seeking ordinary solutions. It is the ordinary role for the ordinary man and is clearly the most comfortable for ordinary peace of mind. The
Uh-huh.
ordinary provides no favorable climate for progress.
Well, and that's a huge message that we are, in our true essence, are not ordinary.
Yes.
We're amazing, beautiful, loving, innate, centered beings. And we are fighting against that. We always have.
And I'll tell you, we are in a very ordinary time on the planet, and it is really vital for BioTouch to get out there. It's a choice. It's a very simple choice. We can choose happiness, and we don't have to make this conflict. We're not choosing happiness against unhappiness. We're not
Right.
choosing health against illness. We're just choosing that simple intent to reach out and touch another human being, and that innate birthright of happiness that resides within us when in that moment of self-awareness, that know thyself, which happens through the greeting. We both, I can't even tell you how profound it is
I know.
in a simple
And
little touch.
here's the thing, people, I think one of the like things that stymie people is they're under the impression that they have to go out and get something outside of themselves. They have to bring here. The beautiful thing about BioTouch is that it is here to remind us that everything, our whole potential of being love and being present with another human being and helping another human being, all of that's already there. It's always been there. That's the difference. You can choose to just be who you truly are. Well, I know that's a lot of work, but that's what we're capable of.
Right?
And BioTouch is here to help us, to give us that amazing tool. We have something that we can use to go get it already there. It's not out here. You do
Right?
that. You're present. My goodness.
So simple, can be done with anybody, and
Yeah,
so it just takes some. It takes a risk, It takes a moment. You it wasn't even a risk to you anymore to say to your grandkids, sit down,
I know.
and
I'm
and they
here.
and so another part of what we have is called the dilemma about taking a risk, and we're going to have Bev read it to you as I show it to you, and all these are in our manual. You can get the manual at justtouch.com, and not only these great little words of wisdom that blow me away every time after 33 years, but
I
all the
know.
points are there. The way to start unlocking our birthright to be happy. So let's show you the dilemma while Bev reads it to us.
Definitely. This is wonderful. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out for another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk rejection. To place your dreams before the crowd is to risk ridicule. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To go forward in the face of overwhelming odds is to risk failure. But risks must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he cannot learn, feel, change, grow, or love. Chained by his certitudes, he is a slave. He has forfeited his freedom. Only a person who takes risks is free. Well,
Boom.
boom. It's time for us all. We call it a risk, but it's really stepping into, as we have just been talking about, what's already there, who we already are, just being able to know that you are free to make a different choice now. We all have to do that together. And how can you risk being not loved? Because Paul and I have been saying this all along. That's an illusion. We are all love, and so we are all loved. That's the magic of BioTouch. It says we are all love, we are all loved, and we're putting love into action by doing this and touching another human being on the skin. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. We're asking you all to join with us. We're asking you to join with your family. It's very easy to learn BioTouch. We have classes, and we just had a class of virtual training. The woman wrote a letter. The next day, she's with a friend who's coughed. They're out to lunch. Her friend's coughing and coughing, having some kind of allergy fit. Right there at the table, she works on this woman, touches the allergy point or something, right there while they're eating. And within the hour and a half or whatever, there was no cough. It subsided, and then it was gone. Right there at the dining table, And so, you don't think they were happy?
Oh my gosh. Just as a little aside before we go into some of our other stuff, last week I worked with a very dear friend I have met here. We're working together with BioTouch. And when I was done, she sat there for a second, and then she looked at me and she said, "Bev, I have never felt so much love." BioTouch. That really moved me.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, folks.
Yeah.
Happiness, love. We can't tell you enough. Just reach out and touch someone. Take those two fingers, lightly touch another human being. If you want to learn some of the different points and sets that we have, our next training, it's a one-day training, 9 to 4:30 Tucson time. It will be August 17th. That's a Tuesday. We go from 9 a.m. to 4:30. 8 CE credits for massage therapists, doulas, nurses. And then our health condition workshop this month is GERD and hiatal hernia. And that's with Suzanne Schlacks, who is a physician assistant. And she's worked a lot with that in recent years. So we're excited to hear her take on this situation. And then we'll teach you the points on how to work with that.
Definitely.
So very touching. Thank you for sharing all of those things. And we hope you'll share with us some of your experiences with BioTouch. Just keep being happy, folks. Keep on touching.
Or at least allow yourself to experience happiness now.
Yes.
Make a different choice.
And as Horace's song says here, we're angels. It's like an angel coming down and touching you on the skin. And we all are angels.
Yep.
We all are loved, and we all have that birthright to be happy, healthy, and loved. So keep on touching. All right, Bev, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
And we'll see you all next week.
I can feel the pain in sunshine or rain, so it's not caused by the weather, but it doesn't hurt that much after I feel your loving touch and we spend some time together. Take my pain away each and every day You're an angel from heaven on high. Your butterfly touch helps me heal so much, and I get better as time goes by. You take my pain